All right, viewers, thank you for staying with us. You are watching The Insight on Aneke TV. This is the program where we x-ray the heartbeat of politics, issues, topics, headlines that shape our nation. We'll bring to you experts' opinions, policy makers. I still remain Uche Osai. Today, we will have with us one of the men who have seen it, he has lived it, and we've invited him to speak about it today on The Insight. Stay with us as we begin to unfold these issues that shape our nation, that affect us, the citizens. With us on this show today is a known figure, a very intelligent, very recognized person in Enugu State, known for his impact, for his clarity of thoughts. We are talking of no other person but Barrister Stephen Ororo, the Deputy Chairman of PDP Enugu State. Barrister Ororo, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to you.
Thank you. So, Barrister, without wasting time, let's get right into it. Let's look into Enugu State. What is your assessment of Governor Peter Mba's developmental efforts vis-a-vis the benefits for Enugu?
Well, I think it's been 2 years of blistering, exciting, flourishing, and exquisite and sublime performance in terms of delivery of dividends of democracy. The very essence of politics is that the pains of our people, the sufferings of our people should be mitigated by interventions, deliberate interventions by the political elites. Those we had deliberately as well voted to preside over the affairs of our people and holding the position also in trust for God Almighty. Their job is to deliver the goods. So for the present administration, ably led by Dr. Peter Mba, he has been, like I said, a wonderful exhibition of dexterity, of quality, of proficiency in leadership, and of standard practices. So he has been one man who has stamped his authority on the ground with candor. And, through concerted efforts, by his team, in conjunction with the masses, he's been able to churn out series of, highly productive exercises leading to tangible dividends of democracy. And like everybody knows today, prior to the arrival of this leadership today, we had a very strong contestation. It was not an easy victory for PDP in Enugu. And the masses came out in their numbers to show cause that they want a tweaking of some sort. They want a rejigging of the mentality of leadership. They wanted the leadership that will restore the quality of governance, the quality of democratic tenets and principles that were in tandem with the wishes of the masses. They wanted results. They wanted to see, tangible evidence of democracy. They wanted to see explanation of their wealth, the taxpayers' money. And the governor today campaigned vigorously, made clear promises with lucidity of the mind and clarity of thought as regards his intentions. That exactly has also admonished. So, but if also, I'm in the vanguard of relaying out those.
Yes, I was about asking you that. Before talking about the contestation of this very position that you talked about, let's bring it home. You talked about the dividends of democracy. What are these dividends that you talk about for Enugu?
Beautiful. Very quickly, like I said, an exciting moment in education, for instance, because education is the visa, is the passport through which a tomorrow is guaranteed in terms of substance, in terms of quality of productivity, in terms of security, in terms of social welfare, in terms of mental emancipation of the people.
No,
It is
Barrister.
through education. And exactly why the government deliberately created a system and that has allowed 260 smart schools, great smart schools to be built in every electoral ward. Meaning that sometimes in 4 communities, in 3 communities, in 2 communities, you see a smart school. And if you also talk about the smart school, you see gigantic project, huge project. And there's no particular ward, as I'm speaking with you, that government hasn't spent up to 1 billion naira per ward, just on that 2 years. And this kind of school is not just about the size of the school in terms of monument that it represents, in terms of the quality of the edifice. It is just about the intent of having that school. It is a school that catches a child at the age of 3 actually, and provides a system where the child could be taught mechatronics,
All right.
visual and augmented realities, creativity of all kinds, just at the very age of 3. It gives you a chance to have experiential learning and provides a system where, because if you look at what is happening in the society today, there's humongous charges coming from the private schools. The prices, the cost of keeping a child in school has gone astronomically high when you look at what the private sector is taking from the masses. And there seems to be a validation of some sort of what is going on there, because everybody, either both the rich and the poor, scamper to put their children in the public schools, or rather in the private schools. So what the government has tried to do here is to bring a school that is better than the private school. And in this school that I talk about here, there will be no school fees. Beyond the fact sake of not having a school fee, is the fact that the children will be fed. There will be means of transportation provided for them. All the schools will have buses to convey the students and make life very easy for them. Their sense is that the government intends to connect the children, our future, to the new world order, to the grid of the next level in terms of international global standard practices.
Barrister, there are those who are of the view, talking about the smart school now,
Yes.
that the governor of your party should have rather improved the infrastructures on ground, improved the quality of education, and incorporated the smart school into what was on ground before your party took over in this dispensation.
Very good. Of course, it is a very nice opinion from them. But unfortunately, it appears they are not looking very well. If
Why would
look
you say,
very
why
well,
would you say that, Barrister?
exactly, the facts are clear.
Can we have it?
Good. We have the superb, having up to 1,200 schools already functional, and the government also making payments consistently and partnering, of course, with UBEC to ensure that these schools are functioning optimally. And the results are there. All the needed infrastructure development in these schools are also going on. At the same time with the building of the smart schools. The smart schools are an end product, a destination where Enugu will be taken to. Having said this, of course, the school board, as in charge of the secondary schools, are also working effectively to ensure that the schools are, producing the right kind of caliber of graduates. And that's going on, and the governor is also delivering the goods in terms of working closely with them. Having said this, the government hasn't stopped there. Under this administration, just within 2 years, you could realize that all the courses in ASUT, for instance, have gotten accreditation. Same with IMT. What appears to be unprecedented. It has never happened before. And the same thing with SUMAC. He has been given accreditation too. So what that means is that the governor is intentional. This government is deliberate about pursuing education in all angles. Only 3 weeks ago, while I was listening to the His Excellency the Governor speak in Abuja, he equally said that he's about to build 2 schools, talking about the School of Education and Technology and School of Agriculture and Technology. You understand? In a national program in Abuja. And whatever he says, he's going to deliver. So there's a determined effort to rebrand our educational system. And if it goes about, which is very much easy, trying to rely on the schools we have on the ground, it could have been much easier for him, but he has a purpose. The purpose is that we need to create children. We need to have a kind of youths that can stay in Nigeria and actually work in London, work in Australia, work in America. All those things about robotics are being taught there. And he has made a rule in all our schools, including the smart schools where they come, that we need experiential learning. We don't want only theories anymore. We want experiential learning.
All right.
So these schools are going to provide, digital boards. They're going to provide science labs and everything needed for the child to explode.
All right, Barrister. You're speaking eloquently of your party, but let's take it on one-on-one basis, talking about these dividends. Let's look at the commissioning of the bus terminal and the bus. Some analysts have argued that government, first of all, has no business being in business. One. Two, some others have the opinion that there was nothing wrong with the transport system in Enugu before the coming of Dr. Peter Mba, while some others have equally posited that the previous administrations has failed in managing such bus rapid system in the past. And they do not see the need to invest resources into this commissioning of bus terminal and the bus system.
Well, if that poses a question to me, the answer is very easy and very simple. The truth is that the window, the easement through which you can view the quality of a state is through the transportation system. And that system has been touched massively by the governor. Before I touch the road transportation system that we raised, it is salient to mention at this juncture that this present administration, first of its kind since the end of the Biafran War, no southeastern state has ever had had an airline of its own, and I stand to be corrected. This is the first time a government of the southeast is having an airline. So this government has acquired about 4 airlines with 3 on the ground, which are, of course, are taken off with all manner of praises and encomiums coming from the Minister of Aviation himself, who was on ground to commission, the takeoff. Having said this, are you aware that this government, for the water transportation, that the Ogugu jetty had been resuscitated in Enugu, in Ozowan, making it very much possible that for goods and of course, agricultural products to be transported within the state. And these are things that many people do not even know. And it has influenced the coming of a naval base there to provide security for the people. Having said this, let's go to the road transportation sector. A sector that, will visit or produce, what appears to be the image of the state of rival, for instance. And what did the governor do now? First of all, when I listened to one of the construction, contractors actually that built the terminal, the world-class terminal that we find in Enugu, he said this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that the governor will be building 5 terminals at a go. He was one that built the Oshodi terminal in Lagos, and to him it appeared unprecedented. But in this regime, more than 2 years, this government has built 5 terminals. Terminal 1 in Holy Ghost is for interstate transportation. Terminal 2 within the Holy Ghost is for intrastate. And there's a sky bridge connecting the two. It's a signage of all eyes. It's a beauty to behold, at which I also would want it to be there. Having said this, in Nsukka, Gariki, and of course Ababa, you have the terminals. And the government has also acquired 200 buses, CNG buses with AC, with a very sound payment system that shields the electorate, that shields the ordinary people so that they can pay cheaper and everything. Having said this, It is also very good that you know that about 2,000 cabs, 2,000 taxes have been acquired by the government that will be unleashed on the people any moment from now. And having said, who will be in the vanguard of saying that government shouldn't be in business? It mangles all logics, defies all imagination, and belies all credibility for any human being to rise up and say that government cannot be in business. What government needs to do is that the elites, the political gladiators in government, should be shielded by a sense of rectitude and probity in office, a sense of frugality to shield whatever belongs to the masses so that it can be judicially spent. That is the side of the government. And any government that shields the public, protects the public fund, makes sure that they, diligently, invest the monies accruable to the government through the coffers of the masses, should also be respected. That's
All right,
what
Barrister.
the government of
Barrister. Still on transportation, now you've brought the issue of the airline. There's this view that about 62 billion was spent on trying to bring about the airline, the Enugu Air and others. And people, or some people, are of the view that that humongous amount of money, if had it been that it was plugged into creating a light rail system for Enugu State, connecting the hinterland to the main city of Enugu State, for example, connecting Nsukka, Agbani, Nkanu and others to the hubs, that it will engender development.
It appears that when the governor on arrival, had to sign the first executive order, which was the Citizens Charter, it appeared he had you in mind with your views. Obviously, you are in the spirit. Because this government, as of today, through the Commissioner for Transportation, he has revealed to me that the rail system is in the offing. The government is about to, to build the rail system. In transportation sector, the governor and with his government, of course, is touched every aspect of governance. There has been a sectorial improvement of the government. Having said this, do you know that we are in a time where we are talking about malfeasance? How are you spending government's money? Could it have been spent in the other way? No more talking about that the government is an epitome of redundancy, that the government represents, silence and conspiracy of silence, that government represents inefficiency of some sort. We're no longer talking about that government, people do not even know what government, has in its kitty to spend. But this government is spending money, monies upon monies, and now people get to know that government has money to spend.
All right, Barrister. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue from where we stopped. Thank you. All right, thank you for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, we are speaking with Barrister Steve Ororo, Deputy Chairman of PDP Enugu State Chapter, an eloquent advocate for the government of PDP. Barrister, when you were talking, you brought about the issue of transparency. And let me make it clear, these are not my opinion. Our job on the Insight is to bring in different opinions, then place them side by side, and then let the people draw the conclusion. Barrister, I've had guests in this program argue that yes, some of the projects are quite commendable, like the commissioning of, the unveiling of the Hotel Presidential. Yes, a lot of them has applauded your government. That is a welcome development, that it would engender development in tourism. Yes, but they have equally raised the issue of transparency in executing this project, that it was not published the amount that was spent on, let's say, the bus terminals, the launching of the bus, the commissioning and the execution of the conference center, the unveiling of Hotel Presidential. Barrister.
Well, that's a very minor problem in the Nigerian context, to be very honest.
Minor?
Very minor problem.
Is the issue of
If
transparency.
in this country, let me tell you, is a country that has seen, her people, suffer while democracy has been eviscerated in terms of the dividends of democracy, in terms of the gains of democracy. If you do the road between Enugu and Kogi, if you do the east-west road, if you do all the important roads in Nigeria, who asks you about how much you used to do it?
But there's need for accountability.
No, there's need for, I'm not even denying that aspect.
Right.
But I'm telling you that we have a society where we need people to be working first. Having said that, do a letter to the government through the right channels. You will get all your answers when it comes to exactitude, because I cannot be here to tell you this is the amount spent on it.
Sure, but Barrister,
beyond the facets of your question lies the fact that this is a government for the first time since 1963, when the presidential hotel was commissioned, actually built by, the wonderful, typical Nigerian called Michael Okpara. This is the first time that place has been recommissioned for a second time. All the other governments, both military and civilian, saw the place and left it almost in tatters. But today, a certain governor came, felt that all the legal encumbrances, all the challenges, all the impediments militated against that hotel should be, extinguished. And quickly, he rebuilt that hotel to the standard. So getting the figures as easy as ABC. What should worry you is, where is the government getting the money to do all the jobs? As of today by 2 p.m., Niger Gas, a moribund company, also built in 1962 by M.I. Okpara, will also be commissioned again in terms of taking off. It's been lying in comatose. It's been lying in ruins. A certain Governor Peter Mba has come, and with his Midas touch, he has tried to rebuild the place, tried to resuscitate it, tried to revamp that industry. And today, I think there's a sense in which the spirit of our forefathers, have possessed the governor of Enugu today. Is that why he went to, of course, UPPL, United Palm Products Limited, of course, built in 1970, immediately after the war, by Michael Okpara, has also been touched with 100 billion naira invested in that place through the PPP. And I'm giving you the exact figure in that one. So if you search for figures in terms of investments, it will be very clear that you get them.
All right, Barrister.
As if that's not even enough, it is very clear that this government has also been involved in Sunrise Flour Mill, has been restored to productivity. Sunrise Flour Mill, an old company also built in the olden days. As if this is not enough, the Aluminium Company Limited that we find in Iwetiti is back, also touched by this governor. And if you talk about the moribund companies, or moribund projects, just look at the International Conference Center, and the earnings is also dragged into the state. As we are speaking today, the prestigious MBA is in Enugu, in their thousands. And you can see the monies being generated for the masses, from hotels to places where they sell food, transportation system, all spheres of life in Enugu have been somehow touched by the arrival of the MBA, conference in Enugu, because he has built a conference center, abandoned for the past 25 years. He had been there as an embarrassment to the entire state.
Right.
But this governor came, having watched two governors, because actually Chimaroke Naman did start this project Senator Chinua Umu Nwanyi, as a governor, started this project. But Governor Peter Mba took over and finished in an exquisite and sublime, manner. He has finished in a flourishing way, leaving that place as a sign of our eyes. In fact, when I listen to people speak in the NBA, they say this is the best, conference center in Nigeria. So this is the spirit of a governor who is virtually touching every area of life. Remember that even if you go to the Nickel Lake Hotel, it's been in conjunction with private sector that are beginning to create a kind of redemption of some sort.
Barrister Steve, if I leave you, you will continue to reel out the praises of this government.
But these are facts. No fairy tale can distort.
Now, let's look at it. In your assessment, with all that you've mentioned, do you think that's enough to get Governor Peter Mba elected into that position?
Well, let me be very honest with you. Like I told you, when the governor arrived on the scene, the first signature was that of a citizen's charter. He wants to have a united front with the people. You understand? So there is a connectivity, there's a link between his ideals, his ideology, and the expectations of the masses. And what he's trying to do is to govern well. He's not looking for election. The governor is not looking for election. What he wants to do is to revitalize the economy, is to create exponential growth, is to move Enugu from, $4 billion economy to $30 billion economy. That's what he wants to do. What he wants to do is to rekindle nostalgia, is to create a situation where you remember the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, the likes of Emma Agbara, those who combine to make this place, an epitome of standard practices and the best the world can behold. Remember in their time, this region became the fastest growing region in the entire world. Out of their own sheer imagination and creativity, a certain replica of those people in the mold of Peter Mba has come.
All right, Barrister, your position is that this project is enough to re-elect him, though you said he's not seeking re-election.
Well, they're emphasizing the issue of re-election because, to me, it's a walkover.
All right.
It's a walkover in the sense.
Now, let me bring this, because we are talking about the people here.
Yes.
People have said that when your party, your government,
Yes,
wants to execute a new project, they will publicize it. Like the case of the bus terminals, the unveiling of Hotel Presidential, the Enugu Air, that they will advertise it, inform the people. But when they want to do recruitment, the people are barely aware.
Well, this is another, discordant tone, I don't know which people we represent. There are people I refer to as dissidents. There are people that are perpetual complainants. There are people that are, they're in the mainstay of the opposition. Their job is to tackle the government, criticize the government, even when they do the right thing, with an intent to incite the public against the government. Such people should not be of an interest of some sort. The reason is that what I want us to protect is REM. What I want us to protect is what the government is doing. We are not even interested in party politicking. We're interested in the dividends of democracy, in the results we have in our hands, the style of government that we have not seen since 1970. That's what we're seeing today. The style of government with monumental productivity. If a government under 2 years could do this, what many governments couldn't do in 8 years, what does it suggest to you? It does suggest that within the next 2 years, making it 4, that Enugu would have been exploded into, into a probably California metropolis or Los Angeles metropolis. You understand? So the dream is tall. What the government, if you see him, you say you haven't seen anything. That's his language. You have not seen anything.
All right, Barrister. Moving on. You've told me that the governor is interested in delivering the dividends of democracy. But I bet that the party politics is still important. If you destabilize the party, that will distract the governor as well. So party is equally very important as well. I say that to ask, in the country recently, It's been raining endorsements. And we've heard the governor speak eloquently about the president of APC, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we've heard the president speak about him and say that he is like a son to him as well. You are the deputy chairman of PDP in Enugu State. Is the governor planning to leave your party?
Well, the truth is this. I think I need to educate you a little about party politics. Nigeria is youth currently the trappings of a failed, nation, given that most of the indices, most of the institutions are not standing very strong. And we can't be deceiving our people. We need to be telling our people the truth. So the masses are galvanized, they are charged. The electorates are charged. What they want, they're asking questions, they're demanding, they're knocking on the doors of different governments, both at the national and subnational. What they want is good governance. And having said this, if the president sees any governors delivering the goods, he has no choice than to pour plaudits, than to pour encomiums, instead of pouring vituperations and aspersions. It is the job of Mr. President to also see with his eyes what is good. Only on the 4th of January 2025, he was in Enugu to commission the first of its kind in terms of command and control center, a gigantic building with all facilities, AI and all whatnot, to detect crime and all issues, with digital cameras and everything, linking up what we can discuss here in terms because of sensitivity of security. Having said this, he also commissioned the first mass school, in Enugu too. And every other thing, he was there to commission of course, the conference center himself. As a president, if you were in the president position, what would you do? You have no choice than to praise the governor who in this time that the masses are demanding seriously for good governance is responding swiftly to these ideals.
All right, Barrister Steve. You're the deputy chairman of PDP in Enugu State.
Yes.
Are you not worried that in the southeast, Enugu State seems to be the only hold your party has? As the deputy chairman of the party, I ask again, are you not worried that this governor, Governor Peter Mba, may join his colleagues in the campaign to APC?
In the first instance, let me also respond this way. My social studies teacher when I was in secondary school once said, and I quote, "The future holds terror and blessings."
I was a social studies teacher as well.
Future holds terror and blessings.
I was a social studies teacher
so
as well.
I won't be the vanguard of speaking the mind of the governor in the first instance. But having said this, it is good you understand that political parties are mere conduit pipes through which aspirations of electorates and those involved in the party are fulfilled. Because individuals do not run for election in Nigeria. They're not allowed to run for election.
Sure.
You must also come under the auspices, under the authority, under the umbrella of a party, if you want to run for election. Having said this, it has become very salient that you must be involved in one party or the other. So I do not, previously I had felt a bit dismayed. I remember PDP, my very beloved party, being in charge of 5 states in the southeast. And we supported the PDP more than any other people. As a matter of fact, it was a Kweme in 1998 who created the concept of having 6 zones in the country, just to have efficiency and of have a semblance of peace and unity. And he should have been the first to benefit. But the Southeasterners, particularly Ndigbo, because they are capitalists, they are egalitarian, they are industrious, they work hard, we allowed the Southwest, the Yorubas, to be appeased with Obasanjo. And as a matter of fact, in that election, the Southwest abandoned their own. He did not win any state in the Southwest, but he won all the states in the Southeast, giving the unity of purpose when it comes to party affiliation and party loyalty arising from the Southeast. So we supported the South, of course. But then the anger you see, the departure you see, the apparent disintegration you see within the rank and file of the party in the Southeast may not be far-fetched. Remember that immediately after Obasanjo came a certain Yaredua, he got resounding victories, despite having an Igbo man as deputy for the other parties. He also won his election under PDP. When power came to the South, one would have expected that, being, of course, one of the three largest, tribes, the Southeast, where we have predominant Igbo, should have also been given the ticket. But it was given to the South-South. What did we do? We massively supported the South-South under Jonathan. And when the power went to the North, however, whether by error or by commission, it was the turn of Buhari under another party, he had gone to the North. Coming back to the South again, it was naturally the time for an Igbo presidency. Did that happen? No. So the people of the Southeast were not given the opportunity by political parties to present, candidates, which should have been. Because in 1999, Olufalaye ran for the other party, Obasanjo also ran for the other party, to make sure that a person from the West must get that power. So you could see the essence of, or we could see the reason for that despondency, for that sense of, for that dispiriting, mentality that is holding sway in the Southeast, particularly concerning the PDP. So, but the good news is this: what do we want from party? It is parties like parties is not only a conduit pipe; it's also like a midwife that begets a government. And what do you want from the government? Good governance. Today, in Enugu, we have excellent government that people are yearning for. Whatever they prayed for in the government of Governor Pitamba, he has also, delivered over tenfolds and more as they come in. So what they want to do in Enugu, let me be honest with you, is that the political party we know in Enugu is Governor Pitamba. Wherever he goes, the masses will go with him. Because our relationship with him in that social contract is delivery of the dividends of democracy. And he has delivered. He has showed the mentality. Initially, politicians were viewed, as an idle parasitic and, dysfunctional looters in the system. But today, because my dictionary meaning of a politician shows me that this is a person either elected or appointed. Today, an elected governor here, as a politician that he is delivering the goods, giving people reasons to come into politics. The politics should be reduced in the hands of minions, serfs, ordinary people, and looters of the treasure of the people. Intelligent people, the elitist class, within the academia and other places should join politics and make sure that we have a society that will protect the interest of our children and the children yet unborn.
All right, Barrister, should we then say that, would we be right to think or posit that it is the position of PDP in the Southeast that rather than zoning their ticket to the South, it should rather be zoned to Southeast in particular?
Well, you know that the PDP national body had taken that decision, the NEC, to zone to the South. And the PDP Southeast had not been respected in this party for so long. Only the last time we were asked to nominate a secretary, procedurally that was delivered. But today, that decision has been ignored. Meaning that the temperament and sensibility of the Southeast PDP hasn't been respected. Of course, have not been respected. And I think it appears to be an aberration in party politics. There are procedures, there are guidelines in party politics. We have leadership in the Southeast. And if that leadership is not being reckoned with, it's an invitation for a possible departure. It is.
In other words, Barrister, I bet the rebate of the PDP, with these zoning arrangements and all that, we know about wearing interests. Are you saying that there is no pathway for the PDP in 2027, given these various interests?
No, like I said, future holds and blessings. PDP remains our party as of today. We wish the PDP all the best. But in the struggle to find the best, you must also look at all indicators. You must look at the right thing. And if you fail to prepare, you have also prepared to fail. So what it means is that decisions that should have been taken by the party in the past were brazenly ignored, and the consequences may be huge.
Barrister, I'm forced to ask, your party, the constitution of your party, recognize the place of discipline on the issue of anti-party. And it seems to the uninitiated that the issue with your party is lack of party discipline. Why do I ask this? We've seen members of your neck endorsing an opposition presidential candidate. And these are people that will talk strategy. Should the house be put in order?
Well, these lines are lines of aberrations in party politics. This is the first time that such things are coming up in party politics, under my watch at least. The truth is that indiscipline in the party somehow is embedded in leadership failure. The quality of leaders we have at apex level is also an indication of the quality of life and time that a party may enjoy. There's a sense in which I'm very skeptical about the quality of leadership at the national level of the party. And what does it create? Trust deficit. What does it create? Discontent. What does it create? A feeling of despondency and lack of trust in the process. And the leadership recruitment process actually in the country begins with party politicking. And one had envisaged that probably the convention of the PDP may generate a new set of leaders capable of leading us to the promised land.
All right, Barrister, for want of time, what is your final thoughts on the issues surrounding the PDP? Just leave us with a memorable quote.
Well, the issue is that there is possibility for a rebirth. There is possibility for a renaissance. We still have possibility for a kind of reinvention of the spirit of the forefathers. Those who walked like Solomon La, like Jim Wobodo, like Ekweme, like all powerful people that worked assiduously, as a matter of fact, to ensure that we have a viable party capable of leading this country for 60 years, even though it has been truncated. But he who fights, even if you lose, you can arise to fight back.
All right, all right.
Having said this, we are determined to say that parties must provide candidates capable of reconnecting with the larger society through productivity, through good governance, through sustained facets, tenets of democracy like rule of law, and people that will provide the basic amenities and make it very ordinary for people to enjoy.
All right,
It shouldn't be.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off at this point in time. You viewers, this is where we'll draw the curtain on today's edition. We've been speaking with Barrister Steve Oruro, Deputy Chairman of PDP Enugu chapter. He's been an eloquent guest. Barrister, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
And I want to on air invite you again some other time when you have a time. Yes. So, viewers, you've heard from him. This is a man who have seen it, lived it, and now he's talking about it. Don't forget to send us your views, your opinion on these issues. You've listened to him. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to reach us on Aneke TV, on our social media handles on Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. Remember, your voice matters. I still remain Uche Osai on The Insight on Aneke TV. Thank you for staying with us.